2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hauntological Society podcast, the place where we talk about UFOs, Bigfoots, cryptids, all kinds of crazy shit. I'm here with my best friend, my bedmate, the one and only
Wendy.
I know I played the music, you couldn't hear you.
Oh,
We gotta get you a pair of headphones so you can hear what's going on.
yeah, I guess so.
Oh man. Oh, I'm Eric, and this is the Hauntological Society podcast, as I said before. Welcome back again. How's it going, Wendy?
It's going. A little sick this today. Got a terrible sinus infection, but anyway,
Got the crud going over.
carry on.
Wendy's still being badass and coming here for all you beautiful people who come back and listen to us. So thank you, Wendy.
No problem. Glad to be here.
There you go. Ready to talk about some scary, spooky shit?
Let's do it.
Today we're talking about the place out in California, what's known as probably it's carried the moniker as the most haunted house in America.
Question.
Yes?
The most haunted house in America.
Yes?
Like the best pizza of the world.
Yes.
America's best cup of coffee.
Yes.
So is this a self-given title, or how do you earn that title?
That's a good question. There's a lot of places that claim to be the best haunted house in America.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I get you. I feel you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who gave them that moniker. It just, I guess, people who run it,
made it seem a little bit more,
trying to make it more
enticing.
Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you
brand yourself.
Profitable. Yeah, like you give yourself branding, make yourself more. I'm having brain fart right now. Whatever it is. Congratulations, you did it. World's greatest cup of coffee.
Right.
Then you get there and you're just like, this is a shitty cup of coffee.
That's like Buddy Elf.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so it's a museum now. You can go there. I believe they still do ghost hunts. Just about everybody and their brother has been there on TV shows.
Every group.
However, it does kind of fly under the radar a little bit when talking about haunted places in America, even though it's supposedly the most haunted place. So, I don't know. I think that's a little weird. We're talking about the Whaley house. If you clicked on this episode, you know what it was already. I'm just bullshitting, dragging it out. Let's get into it. There's a little bit of history about the place. I'm going to tell you about who wrote it or who built it, and why it's haunted. Let's find out. By the way, this is one of those places that the house itself probably isn't the only thing haunted. Probably the land too.
Yeah.
Because the land is soaked in blood. Some bad blood. Very bad blood. Anyway. In the heart of Old Town San Diego stands a stately brick home, a beacon of ambition in the dusty frontier town. But beneath its elegant arches and tiny red brick lies a foundation steeped in death. This is the story of the Whaley House, where tragedy was built into the walls before a single brick was laid. Long before Thomas Whaley built his house, the dusty ground within San Diego city limits was used for public executions. The gallows once stood where criminals were hanged following their crimes, but there was one man who was so tall he was hanged from a cart using a makeshift gallows, causing a slow and agonizing death. And his name was James Robinson, but he went by Yankee Jim. And who exactly was this man? You know, Wendy?
I do not.
Yankee Jim, James Robinson, was a drifter and petty criminal who wandered into the old town San Diego in the early 1850s, described as tall, scruffy, and rough-edged. He didn't blend in well with a small frontier settlement, and he was known to be a bit of a troublemaker. By most accounts, not a hardened criminal. Probably an ass. Walked around, running his mouth, talking shit. What was it you called him? Shit stirrer?
Yeah, shit stirrer.
In 1852, Yankee Jim was accused of stealing a boat. Technically grand larceny at the time. Some say the evidence was flimsy and the sentence was harsh. The Old West justice didn't leave much room for nuance. He was sentenced to death.
Damn.
He
Must have
was,
been a hell of a boat.
yeah, yacht. One of those like fancy paddle boats they had back in the 1800s. He was swiftly tried by a local jury, convicted, and sentenced to death by hanging. Well, it was probably some rich person's boat. Kill this man for stealing my boat. He took my property.
Sorry, sack of shit.
Yeah. I heard him talking shit in town. Hang him. It said that even at sentences, some town folk were uncomfortable with the decision, believing the crime didn't warrant the execution. I agree. You don't die for stealing a boat. The hanging took place on the very land where the Whaley house was later built. There was a problem. Like I said before, Yankee Jim was very tall, over 6 feet tall, and the gallows were not built to accommodate his height. Instead of an immediate drop and neck snap, his toes scraped the ground, and he strangled slowly to death in front of a gathered crowd. Witnesses later said it took over 10 minutes for him to die, with his legs twitching and gasping for air as he was slowly choked by the rope. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's awful.
A little bit of insight here. You want that, unfortunately, that quick drop, because you don't want to be strangled to death. That's like a slow,
prolonged suffering. Yes, I know. I saw a guy get tased one time, and it infuriated me. Much less watch a man be slowly hung to death.
No kidding.
Hanged to death.
Everybody had their kids out there, and this guy's just like gasping for air. It's terrible. But as the legend goes, he cursed the land with his dying breath. And as I imagine, everybody else he could lay his eyes on, probably their land as well, probably their family. I'd have been cussing I'd have even been cussing the horse that was holding the cart.
My luck, I would have been there buying groceries or something, and he spotted me and my kids and cursed my ass or some shit.
I'm just at the general store buying my oats and whey for my family, and we were cursed by Yankee Jim. This land would eventually be bought by the business capitalist Thomas Whaley. And who exactly is Thomas Whaley? Where did he come from? I'm going to tell you. Thomas Whaley was a prominent figure in San Diego history, known for his ambitious business ventures and for building what would become the most famously haunted houses in America, the Whaley House. Thomas married Anna Delaney on August 14, 1853. Thomas and Anna Whaley had 6 children: Francis Hinton, Thomas Whaley Jr., Anna Amelia, George Ray Ringgold, Violet Eloise, and Corinne Lillian. Francis Hinton was named after a business partner. I just find that part awkward or weird. He was so close to the person he named his kid after him.
Yeah. Well, I've heard tales where when people used to have their kids at home and the doctor would come to the house, he would knock so much off the delivery fee if you named the child after him. That's a true story.
I believe it. That's so weird though. This kid's going to carry my name for the rest of my
I'll
life.
knock $50 off this if you name him after me.
My OB will take off $50. We can sell the beef in the stores if you named your kid after me. Whaley himself was born October 5th, 1823 in New York City. That's a good date. It's a good, strong birthday.
When?
October 5th.
Oh, okay.
Came from a wealthy Scotch-Irish family. His father was a successful merchant, and after his death in 1832, Thomas inherited part of his family fortune. But in 1849, like many of his generation, Thomas was drawn westward by California gold rush. And so they traveled to San Francisco and opened a store selling hardware and supplies to the gold miners. And a side note, that's why the San Francisco 49ers are called the 49ers, because the gold rush was in 1849.
Gotcha.
And if you look, some of their old logos has an old miner.
Okay.
I could never figure out why they were the 49ers, and that's why.
Now you know.
No. And now you know.
Little back history.
I know, and now you know. So it be. So mote it be. Around 1851, he moved to Old Town San Diego, then a small and somewhat lawless settlement. and he established a general store with a partner, Lewis Franklin, and became involved in civic life, which I guess that's like judge, senator, uh, law enforcement, lawyer,
Yeah.
kind of like that. In 1853, the store was burned down from an arson attack, probably from someone pissed off at his civic duties, uh, prompting Whaley to return briefly to San Francisco. It wasn't long before that Thomas Whaley returned to San Diego, and just 5 years after Yankee Jim cursed the land, Whaley purchased the land, and undeterred by its history, began construction. In 1857, construction of the Whaley House, the first two-story brick structure in San Diego, using bricks from his own kiln. That's pretty cool.
So that was his job?
No, it wasn't his job. He was just smart enough to make the bricks to build a house.
Okay.
Pretty badass. I don't know. Let's sell some bricks in our general store.
Well, I mean, if that's your side hustle, you make bricks. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a pretty hot commodity back in the day.
Oh yeah, and now he's got a two-story brick mansion, and people are going to want their own bricks for that.
Right.
So it could have been a business venture.
A job is made.
Yep. The house was considered luxurious for its time and featured mahogany and rosewood furnishings. Most people think monogamy is some kind of wood.
Mahogany.
Monogamy.
I gotcha.
That's a terrible dad joke. I need like a rim shot on this thing over here. Let's see. Nope, no rim shot. Oh well. Note to self: buy a soundboard with rim shot for terrible jokes. Place. That's what I get. So how about that mahogany? That was probably nice, like a nice stairwell, huh?
Oh yeah, that's dark. Yeah, wood. That's pretty posh.
Yeah. Okay. It also housed a general store, San Diego's first commercial theater, and later served as county courthouse. And the first legend of the Whaley House was born. Wow, that's crazy. That house is a lot of different things. Theater, courthouse, general store, home.
At least you don't have to go far to get your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's literally like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Come buy your bricks. Come see the show and hang out to get judged later.
Especially if you live there.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, just hang out and watch everybody.
And if he was like if he was a civil servant, like he probably they like needed like a magistrate or something, he'd just come downstairs like you're in.
Right.
If they had somebody brought in. What if they had a jail there? I think they did.
That's a good question.
You might have to look that one up. It is said that the archway in the dining room is built precisely on the ground where the gallows once stood. Which is, I don't know if it was supposed to be planned this way, but the legend is literally the arch represents the old gallows.
Okay.
So if you stand in that archway, it's literally where the gallows once stood. Supposedly.
Allegedly. So, I mean, that's kind of almost like a tribute to the gallows, I would think.
You would think. So all that like spilt blood and stuff underneath the archway
could have created a portal.
Exactly. But it wasn't long after the house was completed and the family moved in that tragedy and sadness began to inflict hard times over this ambitious family. In 1858, Whaley's infant son, Thomas Jr., died of scarlet fever at 18 months. 18 months. Did he make it 2 years? Damn. This was the first major tragedy in the home. But on January 5th, 1882, Violet Eloise Whaley and Anna Amelia Whaley were both married in Old San Diego. Violet married George Bertolucci, and Anna Amelia wed her first cousin, John T. Whaley, son of Henry Hurst Whaley, inside the family home. Man, the Old West was wild. Married your cousin.
They didn't want to make it public, so that's why they had it in the home.
That was like common back then. They didn't know. Unfortunately for Violet, though, just shortly after her nuptials, her new husband revealed to her in a letter of his sordid past, Bertolucci was a con artist who only married Violet in the hopes of inheriting some of the Whaley family fortunes. But Bertolucci vowed to prove his worthiness, but Mr. and Mrs. Whaley, Thomas and his wife, would try to sever all contact. Suffering from melancholy, here's a trigger warning, suicide. Violet committed suicide by shooting herself in the chest with Thomas's .32 caliber on August 19th, 1885. She was then 22 years of age.
Jeez.
That's fucking terrible.
Because he left her?
Because she is a fucking con artist. He was trying to steal her family money. A series of personal and financial setbacks followed, including arson, which we said before, business failure, and deaths in the family. Over time, both Thomas and his wife started to believe the house was cursed. Thank you, Yankee Joe. What'd you find out about the jail? Anything?
No, it just says dining souvenir shop, which probably general store back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, so far nothing.
Okay. Overcome by the grief stricken to his family, Whaley decided to return to San Francisco. But eventually they would make their way back to San Diego. The family tried their best to live a normal life, but it was hard living after suffering so many setbacks and hardships of the family. Thomas and his wife began to experience hauntings in the home. They heard unexplained footsteps and noises in the house and began to feel random cold spots. The shadow of a tall man was seen walking the property, who was believed to be Jim. Thomas's daughter, Corinne Lillian, was engaged at the time of her sister's death, but her fiance broke off the engagement due to the scandal it raised. And after these tragic events, Thomas Whaley built a single-story frame home for his family on 933 State Street in downtown San Diego, and the family moved into the new residence, leaving the Whaley home vacant for over 2 decades. But after years of setback and death in the family, Thomas Whaley passed away. He died on December 14th, 1890 at the age of 67 at the State Street home. Meanwhile, the old Whaley house remained vacant and fell into disrepair, but in 1909, Francis Whaley undertook the restoration of the building and turned the home into a tourist attraction, where he posted signs promoting its historicity and entertained visitors with his guitar. Come see the history and listen to my songs.
Yeah.
Anna Whaley, Thomas's widow, Corinne Lillian, Francis, and George all lived in the old Whaley house in 1912. And on February 24th, 1913, Anna died at the age of 80 years.
80?
Yep.
Wow.
She lived for a while, even back then. Back then it was probably like 1,000. A year later, Francis Whaley died on November 19th, 1914. George Whaley died on January 5th, 1928 in San Diego, and Corinne Lillian Whaley continued to reside in the house until her death in 1953. Wow, I didn't realize they were living there until 1953. That's wild.
After sitting there for 2 decades.
Yeah. And then people go back in and they just start dying off. So more and more energy is being put into the home.
Right.
The house has since become a museum, still draws thousands of tourists every year. Once carrying the moniker as the most haunted house in America, history buffs and paranormal enthusiasts flock to visit the Whaley house, looking for a chance to experience a paranormal occurrence and a piece of history. Today, some of the ghostly claims include Thomas and Anna Whaley walking around the house. A little girl is seen in the parlor. Heavy boots can be heard throughout the house. Free-floating cold spots, and one man even reported being pushed down the stairs by an unseen hand. Mm-hmm. One of the most haunted spots is, of course, the famous archway where the gallows once stood, and we can never forget Yankee Jim. His tall shadow is seen lurking around the house, even hiding in corners, making people feel uncomfortable and intimidated when he is around. Damn, that fucker is still being an ass.
Even in death.
Yeah. Even though he didn't deserve to die, I'll give him that. He doesn't have to hide in the corner and try to scare people.
He come back home.
Yeah, he did. He didn't leave. Many of the paranormal shows have visited, including Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and Holster Files. The latter including a clip of Dave Schrader being picked up and tossed aside. You remember that?
I do remember that.
It's weird. If you look, you can see like his hip like kind of
bounces to
take a shot, and then he's picked up and pushed.
And he's a big dude.
He's a pretty big guy.
That
yeah.
had to be some force.
Here's another little side note about Dave Schrader. He also he used to work for Ghost Adventures back in the day, and I believe he appeared on some of the OG episodes.
He did.
And he was the guy who would find them places to go investigate. Just a little insight on him.
Gotcha.
So he's always been working in the paranormal field behind the scenes or whatever. But though this house has enjoyed all the fame of the other haunted locations, it's still a paranormal hotspot that continues to intrigue paranormal enthusiasts and amateur hunters alike. But I think the true tragedy of this land, of course, is Yankee Jim. And though it's true he was a criminal, his punishment didn't fit his crime, and Yankee Jim's story still exemplifies America's haunted conscience. Justice served cold, and vengeance left to simmer for over a century. His tale also marks a rare case of a ghost haunting a location before the building even exists. A curse on the land, not the walls. And that is the tale of the ghosts of the Whaley House.
So before, the hanging and all that, was there any mention of like Native American happenings or whatever?
I guarantee there were probably natives there. Because I think you got the Navajo, the Apache. I don't know exactly what I don't know exactly what tribes would have been in San Diego at that time, but I'm almost positive that there were natives there. So before even like these people were hanged and killed here, there had to be bloodshed on this land. This land soaked up a lot. I'd be surprised. I'd be interested to see like what's actually in the ground. If there's quartz there, if there's limestone, both are known to hold energy.
Right.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, with such a heavy gold presence, I believe gold is usually attracted to quartz veins, which
Okay.
would make sense that there would be quartz there, which would hold so much energy. Could make reason why it's so haunted.
Right. So back to Dave Schrader. What present do you think it's Yankee Jim that would like hit someone with such force that it would send them, pummeling to the side?
I mean, I think it'd be easy to point the finger at Yankee Jim, but with so many criminals and so many people like hanged and left there to die, I mean, it could have been anybody. I mean, if there truly is a portal like you're talking about, anybody could have just come through and popped him.
Right.
They did seances there. They've done a lot of different things to try to like call the spirits. The reason Dave was there is because Hans Holzer, which is considered one of the first ghost hunters in America, was there investigating, and they were just returning to follow up on his findings.
Right. Finish the
story, and find out what he found, or try to verify what findings he had in his files or whatever. San Diego also, there's because California has like the huge fault line. There's always earthquakes, so the Earth itself could be releasing energy all the time.
Right.
I mean,
as it shifts.
Maybe wherever the Whaley House sits, it's just like the perfect stew of like,
regeneration.
Yeah, exactly. To hold the
keep bringing the past back to light.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was starting there. I'm looking up. So the native tribes that were in San Diego were the Kumeyaay, also known as the Diegueño. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. They lived in the region for over 10,000 years. And they are one of the 4 distinct cultural groups in San Diego County, along with the Luiseño, Cupeño, and Cuquila.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mouthful.
They probably have Spanish names because the Aztecs traveled north and settled in the western part of modern day America. So that's why a lot of the southwestern tribes have like Hispanic or Spanish influence.
Right.
It makes you wonder. The Aztecs were known for doing their rituals, sacrifice, a lot of spirit work. So I wonder if any of that stuff was kind of like done on that land.
Could have been cursed from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is why so many bad things took place.
Yeah, I mean it could have gone back years and generations, and who knows how long that was going on. And that time of like of American culture, American history, it's called the Wild West for a reason. So it said there was a lot of lawlessness there, even being a small town, I mean, who knows what was going on? People were probably getting killed for gold, especially they were there just for the gold rush. People were killing each other for each other's mines, their deeds. Greed.
That's why you don't tell anybody what you have.
Yeah.
I mean, you just stick it in your pocket and go home.
Somebody's like, "Look, I got this couple ounces of gold here." Next thing you know, you're like shot, left to die in some canyon, and there goes your
Somebody took
gold.
off your gold. Yep.
Yeah, trying to build wealth for their family because not a lot of people were super wealthy back then. It does suck that Thomas and his family had such like tragedy though. I mean, they went through a lot of shit. It's really shitty that guy was like, I'll marry you. I want to marry you. You're such a wonderful woman, and then he's a fucking con man.
And you find out in a letter.
Yeah.
Wow.
He can't even tell me. He just had to text it to me.
So he didn't even text it. He sent a piece of paper to her.
It was the old West version of texting.
Slug mail.
It had the world's first like emojis on it. It was a sad face. Sorry, I tried to steal
broken heart.
Sorry, I tried to the little broken hearts. Please love me, baby. Damn.
So I guess he took off and then just sent her a letter.
Mm-hmm. I imagine so. Probably disappeared. I didn't realize that Thomas built a house down the street either. And he didn't actually die in the Whaley house. He died at the other house. I wonder if the home that they built on State Street was haunted as well.
Might be some more digging. Let's find out.
Let's find out. Here we go. We're gonna look it up. Haunting on State Street. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Oops. And damn, I can't spell. This is real time ghost hunting right here. Old Town, San Diego.
Research.
Yeah. It just pulled up the Whaley house. What did I say? 933 State Street.
Yeah.
Here we go. San Diego. They keep saying it's the Whaley house. It's not the proper Whaley house, so.
Well, maybe because it was from the same people. That's why kind of.
Maybe it's also called the Whaley house.
Yeah. Weird. Part 2.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't know. Where's this song? Here we go. Man, the Whaley house. That courthouse is nuts. I can't imagine having like a court like next to my home though. It would be kind of like that's like never leaving work. You always get your work in the backyard. Yeah, that's what I meant by like living in the house off of the store or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's always like traffic, in and out. Yeah. Come in at like 2:00 in the morning. Hey, we got somebody down here. No, I'm pretty sure they shut that shit down pretty early back then. Yeah. 5:00 or was bedtime back then. But it's dark. Oh man. Well, that's a short one. I don't know. You got anything else? No. Right on. Well, we appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us. Don't forget that we have a store. Please visit our store. It's located on my Facebook page, the Hauntological Society. There's actually 2 pages. One is a business page and one is an actual Facebook page. Try to follow the one that's actually a Facebook page. I'm not following the one on the business anymore. Just didn't do well. We're up to over 200 people on the Facebook page. Can you not remove it? I tried it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's weird. Facebook is so weird with that shit. Send us an email. Have you been to the Whaley house? Tell us about it. Let us know what you figured out. What you discovered, what you saw. Got pictures? Send those to at the Hauntological Society at gmail.com. What else? Make sure you rate and review our podcast because it helps us get new listeners. Every little bit helps, and it helps us grow, keeps this community growing. We need everything we can get. I think that's about it. Anything else, Wendy? No. All right, we're gonna cut it short since Wendy's not feeling good. I'm gonna let her get some medicine in her and take rest. But I'm Eric.
I'm Wendy.
We're out.